Now on the CTV News at 5, Lethbridge's Whoop Up Days officially kicks off. Plus, Air Canada and its flight attendants reach a tentative agreement. And thousands turn out for the free Whoop Up Fair.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon and happy Whoop Up Days. Thousands of people lined Lethbridge's 3rd Avenue and 13th Street this morning for the annual parade to kick off the week-long festival. And for many, it's become a staple event with interest in joining the parade continuing to grow year after year. Carson Marzouk reports.
Whoop Up Days is officially underway.
Not much better than right now, and seeing the community come together, and it kind of makes everything worth it.
Leading the way this year was the Morris family, owners of Gas King, who have been selling Whoop Up Days tickets at their locations since 2001.
We're quite surprised when the Exhibition Park asked us to be parade marshals. We're very honored, of course. We don't think of ourselves as hometown heroes, but we're happy to lead this year's parade.
Following the Morris family was about 120 entries, including music, dancing, floats, along with municipal, provincial, and federal dignitaries.
There are over 1,600 people that will be going through the parade this year. And when you think of a city of 100,000, that is a big percentage of the people who live in this city.
With thousands more lining the streets to take in the parade.
Knowing that everyone is putting that kind of effort in because they see the pride in it and they see that they're part of the community, it just is, it is really heartwarming to know that people care that much about this city and about this event and about this parade and want to be a part of it and put in the effort to make it really, really good.
Businesses, community organizations, and cultural groups took the chance to showcase what they offer to the community. This is also the first year the 20th Independent Field Battery took part in the parade. When it comes to judging, Paul Kainsmith says a new Indigenous category has been created to highlight the Blackfoot culture.
We've seen an increase in the number of Indigenous groups taking part in the parade, and it is to the point where we wanted to recognize that and introduce that as one of the parade categories this year.
Carson Marzouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Following the parade, hundreds made their way to the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Centre to take in the Whoop Up Days action. The Midway Marketplace, Princess Pageant and food trucks opened at noon to mark the start of the summer festival. Our Quinn Keenan was there.
A few hundred eager attendees were waiting outside the Whoop Up Days gates before they opened at noon. Each person had a different reason for being excited.
I've never been to Whoop Up Days. We were born and raised in Calgary, so we just want to experience it with our granddaughter.
The rides and...
Yeah, me too. I've never been here, so I'm excited to find out what it is.
After months of preparation, organizers were thrilled to see the first guests come through the gates. It makes all the hard work and long hours worth it.
I mean, to be at the heart of a community event like this, it's wonderful. I mean, everyone's happy, ready to ride rides, come to the family fun zone, get great food. It's just such a good time.
It was a quick turnaround for West Coast Amusements to get the Midway ready in time. After a long drive from North Battleford, they had just 2 days to get the grounds ready.
2 days is ideal. That way our guys don't have to work as hard, and everything gets cleaned and, just a little bit more attention to detail. And, the guys work really, really hard on inspecting and maintaining and greasing.
There will be extra time to head to the grounds this year. The Midway will be open for the first time on Sunday from noon to 7 for a Whoop Up wrap-up with discounted $5 tickets.
So far, we've heard great things. I think it's going to be a busy day. It's just an extra day for the families to come out, enjoy the Midway, some extra food.
Admission for Whoop Up Days is free until 3 o'clock Wednesday and Thursday. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The grounds are open until 11 o'clock each night. The Lethbridge in District Pro Rodeo kicks off on Thursday. All right, Danielle Savoni, looks like Mother Nature is ready for Whoop Up Days and not quite as hot the rest of the week.
Right, so it's kicking off on the hot side, of course. Today, many communities, including Lethbridge, in the 30s, but we're going to cool down over these next few days. It will still be hot enough, but not quite as hot as what we're getting out there right now. It's all what's happening off to the northwest of us that's going to start to track down, and that's going to help cool the temperatures, bring in some cloud cover into some communities, and some communities will see some thunderstorms. We'll talk more about that potential in a little bit, but for now, it's 30 degrees in Lethbridge, a whole lot of sunshine, and into the 30s for Medicine Hat, Brooks, Milk River as well. Your full forecast is coming up. Jackie.
Thanks, Danielle. An accident on Highway 3 caused significant delays and backups Monday night, but it has also reignited talks about building a third bridge in the city, something the mayor says he will not burden on taxpayers.
I had the opportunity to talk with the Premier this morning. She's put me in touch with Minister Dreeshen and Alberta Transportation, and we will, infrastructure, we will be in touch with them to find out if there's other sources of revenue to possibly look at another bridge. I will say this, a bridge comes at the cost of probably $300 to $400 million right now, and I won't burden taxpayers with that, so there's another way that we need to find to be able to build that.
The mayor says potential funding for a third bridge would be included in the city's 2027 to 2031 budget, but he says nothing has been approved at this point. A few dozen members of the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees took part in a protest early today. The AUPE says its Government Services Bargaining Committee enters into enhanced mediation with the Government of Alberta and a deadline for negotiations on the horizons. Its members are showing their strength. The AUPE says provincial employees want a fair contract that reflects the wages and working conditions they deserve.
Well, we do have an essential services agreement, so services that are deemed essential will still continue to be provided. But where it may impact Albertans is when they try and go to one of our tourist attractions where Alberta Park staff are at. Those will be shut down in the event of a strike. Permit office will be shut down. We will be at skeleton crew for most services. We will see essential services workers rotating in and out. Managers are going to be expected to do the jobs of frontline workers.
AUPE has imposed an August 29th deadline for the province to come to a successful resolution. Now, relief for air traffic travelers. Air Canada and its flight attendants have reached a tentative agreement. The 10,000 flight attendants in the union must still vote to ratify the new deal, but this does mean the strike is over. The job action began early Saturday, but just hours later, the federal government ordered the dispute to binding arbitration. While details of the new agreement are yet to be seen, Air Canada had earlier offered a 38% increase in total compensation for flight attendants over 4 years, with a 25% raise in the first year, which the union deemed insufficient. A key sticking point was pay for groundwork, tasks such as boarding passengers, which are currently not paid for. Over the several days flights were canceled during this dispute, more than 500,000 passengers were impacted, but the airline says relief is coming soon.
Absolutely, the planes will be back in the air from 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge. And then we have our full Air Canada Express schedule already operating.
Air Canada is offering customers refunds or rebookings on other airlines to dates up to a year from their original booking. Pierre Poilievre is heading back to the House of Commons after a landslide win in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot.
This has been a privilege. Getting to know the people in this region has been the privilege of my life. In fact, I've had a hell of a lot of fun.
Now Poilievre's attention will turn to the fall sitting of the Parliament, which resumes September 15th. Poilievre has already signaled some of what he plans to focus on, like a cap on spending to bring down inflation, affordability and immigration. Earlier in August, the Conservative leader also said the party was calling on Prime Minister Carney to begin construction of at least 2 pipeline projects and a new natural gas project. Poilievre also faces a leadership review in January, which will take place in Calgary.
He's not able to start moving polls in a more positive direction for himself, then members of the party will wonder whether he can carry them into victory in the next election, and they may be starting to look elsewhere.
The Tory caucus has been firm in its support for Poilievre, and it is widely expected that he will win the leadership review, mainly because no one else so far has publicly challenged his leadership. Alberta cabinet ministers are meeting in Calgary today to discuss whether or not to reverse a new controversial expense policy for senior government officials. This policy quietly came into effect August 1st, ending the public disclosure of receipts for expenses over $100 for staff and senior bureaucrats. The government also wiped out 8 years of financial records from the internet. The Office of Alberta's Privacy Commissioner says it wasn't consulted and did not understand the rationale behind the decision. The future of the new directive is still unclear tonight, with Premier Danielle Smith only saying earlier this week she was confused by the change and promised to look at reversing it. The province defended the change as a safety measure to protect ministers who often stay at the same hotels while traveling, but opposition parties call it an attempt to conceal spending.
They're no longer publishing their receipts. They deleted 8 years of expense disclosures the Friday before a long weekend, and the Premier claims she knew nothing about it. So if she knows nothing about what's going on in her government, we deserve a Premier who knows what's going on. In reality, of course she knew what was going on. She just wasn't expecting the backlash.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation says receipts are critical to show Albertans exactly how their money is being spent. CTV repeatedly asked to speak with the Premier today, who was in Lethbridge. We were told she would not be speaking with the media. Now, following the parade, Mayor Blaine Higgin was busy flipping burgers at his annual Mayor's Barbecue outside City Hall. Hundreds of people lined the streets for the barbecue. There was music from Trevor Panzak, along with different children's activities. Along with the mayor, members of council helped serve out food and chat with residents.
Being able to come here and to just walk up and down the lineup and meet folks and thank them for coming and for what they do to make our community so wonderful.
This was the 4th year the mayor hosted the free community barbecue. Whoop Up Days also means pancake breakfasts will be popping up all over the city. The Interfaith Food Bank held its annual breakfast this morning. The food bank prides itself on having the healthiest breakfast in the city. Along with the pancakes, you could get eggs, sausage, beans, fruit, and more. It also featured live music, a photo area, and face painting for the kids. Hundreds turned out to support what has become one of the most popular Whoop Up pancake breakfasts.
We've been really lucky this year. It's been a steady stream, and so we've had the opportunity to have it at a manageable level. But I wouldn't be surprised if we exceed our numbers this year. The crowd has just been busy and steady all morning.
It's also a big fundraiser for the food bank, with guests paying by donation. And you can get your fill of flapjacks tomorrow morning at Bridge City Chrysler. Berry and whipped cream pancake breakfast that goes from 7 until 11 a.m. While the breakfast is free, donations are being collected for Lethbridge's Dolly Parton Imagination Library, helping provide books for children in the community. And the Nordbridge Senior Centre always puts on a great feast too. Their Toonie pancake breakfast runs from 8 a.m. until 11. Fresh Start Recovery is hosting a community barbecue from 11 until 3 tomorrow. There will be games, entertainment, a teepee raising, face painting, and a petting zoo for kids. All right, Danielle has your full Whoop Up Days forecast right after this break. Also, when we return, Ozempic could be used to help those suffering from kidney disease.
Here's your Skywatch weather cam facing west. It's bright, sunny, and it's certainly hot. Today is a hot one overall. It will tame down in some communities, Lethbridge including in that, over the next couple of days. But Medicine Hat, for example, will continue to be under the heat warning today, tomorrow. All right, Calgary got to 26 today, those mid-20s for Edmonton as well, and out to the east, Thunder Bay through Toronto and over to Montreal and Fredericton in those lower 20s for today. Check out the heat, you feel it out there. 30 in Drumheller at the moment, 31 in Brooks, 32 in Medicine Hat and Milk River, and just over 30 in Lethbridge as well. So especially the far southeast corner, we're dealing with all of that heat, and there is a heat warning in place. And this is in place for tomorrow too, for areas that are south of Empress, for areas to the east of Brooks, and down through Medicine Hat foremost. Many berries included in this as well. This again is for today and tomorrow because temperatures will be above that 30 mark and the overnight lows will be in those mid-teens. So no real relief at night either, because if you don't have air conditioning, that's a tough one. Okay, in addition to that, the winds are calm at this point. There's no gusts that are registering other than in Banff and in Pincher Creek, just over 30. This will pick up tomorrow though. So we're looking at gusts from Pincher Creek over to Lethbridge and Medicine Hat up to 50 kilometers per hour. at times for tomorrow. So a gustier day tomorrow as the weather pattern changes and as this starts to shift in. So we're looking at dealing with some cloud cover in some communities. And because we have heat and you add this instability and this lift from this cold front, yeah, that could lead to some decent thunderstorms as well. I'll show you where we can expect that. For tomorrow, for the rest of today, it's quiet and it's hot. That's the story. Overnight tonight, though, closer to Medicine Hat and south, especially along that Saskatchewan border as well, these cells could develop quite nicely, and that could lead to some hail as well. So these could be some decent thunderstorms overnight tonight because we have the heat and the instability. Then we have this tracking down. So for Wednesday, 10 o'clock in the morning, some cloud cover may push into some communities, and then later in the day, closer to Brooks and just to the north of Brooks, and then Medicine Hat and south, we have the potential for thunderstorm activity. So late day Wednesday is that possibility. Then, as you can see, this clears out for Thursday, but we'll have some relatively cooler air in place on Thursday behind the system that's going to be dragging through. Okay, East Kootenay area, 12 tonight, a little gusty at times, and that will continue at times tomorrow as well, up to 40 kilometers per hour. You're looking at a high of 27 degrees. Small chance of an isolated shower even tonight and tomorrow as well, but you'll also see a good chunk of sunshine tomorrow too. 12 overnight, quiet crosses past. The wind's picking up to 50 kilometers per hour tomorrow, and there's this small risk of a thunderstorm later in the day. Most likely what you're looking at is a high of 29 and a mix of sun and cloud. Medicine Hat 17 tonight, the risk of a thunderstorm, especially around that midnight hour. And then later in the day tomorrow, you have that risk as well. It's smaller for Medicine Hat. The chance is greater south of Medicine Hat. You're looking at a high of 31, so still that heat warning in place. Lethbridge, 28 degrees, a little gusty at times up to 50 kilometers per hour with a mix of sun and cloud. Then mid-20s for Thursday, and then those lower 20s for Friday.
Health Canada has approved Ozempic to reduce the risk of further kidney decline among patients with type 2 diabetes. Between 30 to 50% of people with type 2 diabetes develop some form of chronic kidney disease. An international clinical trial showed the risk of kidneys significantly deteriorating or failing was 24% lower in patients taking Ozempic compared to those taking a placebo. Researchers say the results show it is possible to reduce the loss of kidney function before patients need dialysis or a kidney transplant. A BC man is running across the country with the goal of raising $1 million for mental health services. The coast-to-coast journey involves running an ultra-marathon that's 50 kilometers every day. Former border service agent Sachin Ladi says he has struggled with his mental health and running helps him find purpose. He just passed through Ottawa, where he was joined by youth and members of the Ottawa Police Service. The journey is expected to take about 80 days to complete. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, the 9-year-old kart racer whose need for speed has him representing Canada on the racetrack. How good of a driver are you? When it comes to kart racing, one of the best drivers in the country is a 9-year-old boy from Lumsden, Saskatchewan. And as Brittany Poitras tells us, he's earned himself a trip to the Middle East to represent Canada on the racetrack.
He might be just 9 years old, but Jack Klim was born to be behind the wheel. The Lumsden product is one of the best go-kart racers in the country and will represent Canada at an international stage this November in Bahrain. Klim says he's been racing on the WF Botkin racetrack outside of Regina since the first time he saw karts on the track.
We saw go-karting, so we came over for a day and asked if we could test it, and we liked it, so we tried it again, did a race the next year, and we loved it, so we kept doing it.
He has been riding around on little quads and electric vehicles since I think he was 2, kind of ripping around our yard, ripping around the farm. I think he's been parallel parking since he was 2. He's a better driver than I am.
With speeds of more than 100 kilometers per hour, the safety procedures become even more important than the race itself.
We have bumpers, front, side pods, and back rear bumper. We have a rib protector, a suit. You can have a balaclava, a neck protector, a helmet, and gloves.
Jack's mother says her heart races just as fast on the sidelines as Jack does on the track.
It's definitely high anxiety. I don't know if this ever is going to get easier on my mom heart.
The fourth grader will race against the fastest 7 to 10-year-olds at the Rotex Grand Finals in Bahrain. His mother says competing is a part of Jack's nature.
He's a very special kid. He's always been, highly competitive, very coachable, very easygoing. We're pretty proud of him.
In just a couple of months, Jack will go full throttle against some of the fastest kids in the world and may even bring Canada home a world title. Brittany Poitras, CTV News, near Regina.
A Calgarian has won a national title at the Canadian Superbike Championship. 20-year-old Torrin Collins got his 6th win of the season to clinch the title at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Ontario this weekend. A trophy presentation is happening at Rocky Mountain Motorsport and Carstairs. They will also be teaching about 75 riders how to be safer and more confident on a bike. You'll need a lawnmower and a lot of stamina to enter this race. More than 40 teams took part in the Bullseye Lawnmower Race in England. Drivers had to rip around 1.4 kilometers long course for 12 hours. Ordinary lawnmowers are transformed into high-speed machines, reaching speeds up to 80 kilometers an hour. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, a proposal from the heart and from above when we come back. One couple set its relationship goals sky high, and now that's paying off in a big way. NBC's Jess Kirsch has more on an epic proposal.
Tim Sullivan wanted to ask his girlfriend, Caroline Liggett, a very important question, and he did it without saying a word. All of that thanks to this in the fields below, a 13-acre corn maze outside Columbus, Ohio, spelling out, "Will you marry me, Caroline?"
I was just so shocked.
Caroline and Tim, who both work in agriculture, have known for months they wanted to spend their lives together. But Tim wasn't sure how to ask.
We both really like corn a lot. Not to be corny, but I wanted to do something that we would both be able to remember for the rest of our lives.
The idea hit him in late April. Popped the question with his family farm's annual corn maze. With help from computers and consultants, Tim designed and planted the maze. Then he had to wait for the message to grow.
Are you starting to lose patience? You told this guy in April you want to marry him.
Tim is quite the planner, so I knew it was going to be something quite elaborate. So I had quite a bit of patience with that.
Then earlier this month, they flew over the farm.
And I look back at her and she's looking out the other side of the plane.
So they circled around and finally, love was in the air.
I've never seen her face light up as much as she did, and it was definitely one of the coolest experiences that we'll be able to tell for a lifetime going forward.
And back on land, Tim still got down on one knee to complete a proposal that was unquestionably amazing. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.